There was chants at a pro-Palestinian / we'd say pro-Hamas rally that happened in Dearborn, Michigan, where you heard chants of the most logical chants, they said, of course, were death to Israel. But they decided, let's throw in a little death to America as well. And then later on, Hillary Vaughn from Fox News confronted Rashida Tlaib.
Congresswoman Tlaib.
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
At a rally in your district, people were chanting death to America. Do you condemn?
I do not talk to Fox News.
But do you condemn chants of death to America?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting death to America? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is death to America racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting death to America racist?
I'm talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
Yep. All right. And there you have it. So being confronted with what do you have to say about people in your district, in your area, screaming death to America. How do you feel about that? And she says, I'm not talking to Fox News. You guys are the racist. Of course, we're joined by Harry Hutchinson in studio, who, hey, you grew up in the area, knows it well.
Absolutely. So this is unsurprising. Essentially, Dearborn, Michigan has a very rocky history. It was basically a city characterized by racism. It was a city founded by Henry Ford, and ironically enough, the demonstration took place in front of the Henry Ford Centennial Library. Right. And I think everyone knows Henry Ford had a distinguished history of anti-Semitism before World War II, and in many respects, the demonstration that happened in Dearborn last week is a continuation of a historical pattern that has essentially captured, unfortunately, a part of my home state. So in any case, you can see or hear chants of death to America and death to Israel. And essentially, the protesters are embracing what might be called the Cloward-Piven revolutionary strategy. Who is Cloward? Who is Piven? Those are two Columbia University sociologists who've adopted a revolutionary approach to destroying the market system and essentially destroying America. And how do you do that? You focus on identity and you focus on alleged oppression. And so in this particular case, the protesters are casting the entirety of America and particularly Israel as oppressors, and they see themselves as oppressed people. And unfortunately, many academics support this approach.
Yeah, it's becoming the prevailing theory, if you will.
Professor Hutchinson, you see, one, the protest, but on the other hand, the inability and outright refusal of Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib to condemn it. I understand she used it as a political moment to go after Fox News, but wouldn't you think with the state of affairs in the United States and what was being said at the rally, she could have both said, I don't normally talk to you, but of course I condemn death to America. What do you think her play was there by refusing to answer the question?
Well, I think she is playing brilliantly, if you will, the oppression card. And it will play well, unfortunately, in her district, and it will help ensure her reelection. So she's not playing to the American people. She's focused on her particular district. Now, I think in the scheme of things, this perhaps hurts the Democratic Party, but I'm not sure she's particularly concerned about that. I think she is a particularly self-interested individual.
And we know that both in Michigan and Minnesota, both have large Islamic communities that
growing communities. It's become very, in even recent years, you've seen a large change in demographics there.
But we know the concern that the Democrat Party currently has is backlash for, as the speaker at the rally said, they're calling Joe Biden Genocide Joe. They need those states in a general election to stave off a Trump victory. What position is the Democrat Party at large in right now when you're seeing this come out of Dearborn, Michigan? And does that turn off voters that may want to vote for Democrats, or does it also push the Biden administration's hand to try to placate them a little more?
Well, I think it will push the Biden administration to try to placate individuals in Minnesota and Michigan, particularly Muslims. However, I think that will then backfire in a number of other swing states. And so I think Biden is in a very, very tough situation. But I think Biden is in this tough situation in part because of his failure to adopt sound principles. And so I think if he had stated initially that he was going to defend the right of a country that was attacked on October the 7th to respond, and if he had maintained that consistent approach, that would have played out better for him. But I think Biden, perhaps pushed by many of the elites that he has actually appointed in the State Department and elsewhere, he has basically weakened. And I think if you want to adopt dual opposing positions, which I think is the Biden administration approach, you will shoot yourself in the foot, and deservedly so.
Well, it's over and over it seems like that happens. And it seems like that there's what President Biden has to say and then what the administration has to say. And it always seems like they're somewhat at odds with each other, maybe because they can't somehow get on the same page or someone's not informed of what the true policy is based on whatever he decides he thinks is right. And that even happened. Was this from yesterday also?
Yes, yeah, from the press secretary.
From the press secretary, from KJP, was confronted with the question about this protest that we saw in the streets, again, that ended or happened to feature chants death to America and death to Israel. Let's hear what she had to say.
Should we expect a statement from the president on that, though? I mean, it was a pretty significant display.
I mean, you're hearing from me. I think that's important. The other part, too, that I do want to be very clear about, peaceful protest is something that the president has also been very, very clear that is important to give folks space to peacefully protest. But any type of violent rhetoric, we are going to denounce.
I'm going to ask you this, Professor Hutchinson, which is, obviously, we're all for the freedom of speech. Protect the freedom of speech, protect peaceful protest. I think that's very important. I think it's one of the most important things we have in this country. But where's the line? I guess, where's the line from calling for violence or, we've seen this now on college campuses where you've had the college, the heads of the college say, well, it wasn't specific. I think it was the head of Harvard or one of those.
Right.
Said it wasn't specifically saying death to those Jewish students. It was death to all of them, to everyone. And therefore, that's not specific threats. But at some point, we all grew up with you have the freedom of speech, but you can't yell, fire in a crowded theater. Where does that line kick in?
Well, I think for the administration, there is no real line except a weasel line. I would argue that death to America is inherently violent as a chant.
I think most people
and
agree.
I think that's self-evidently clear to most Americans. But to give the press secretary of Joe Biden credit, that is something that she probably doesn't understand or doesn't want to understand. So I think her unwillingness to call out those particular demonstrators, I think will hurt the president in November. And I think many American people would share that
just trying to
sentiment.
placate those couple states.
And Karine Jean-Pierre did give a one-word answer that, yes, they do condemn it. But that was her longer explanation as well, which does give a little bit of wiggle room about what becomes violent rhetoric. However, it does appear, at least for now, they condemn death to America. We'll see how long that lasts.